Good evening, everyone. This meeting of the Osseo School Board is being conducted in person. The meeting can be monitored electronically by streaming online from the district website. An archived recording of tonight's meeting will also be available on the district website. The organizational meeting of the Independent School District 279 School Board is called to order. It's 6:00 p.m. on Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. Seated in front of you this evening from my left to your right are Director Tamara Grady.
Good evening.
Director Thomas Brooks, Director Jackie Mosqueda-Jones, myself, Kelsey Dawson-Walton, Director Tanya Simons, and Director Heather Douglas. Superintendent Corey McIntyre is out ill this evening and will not be unable to join us. General Counsel Tim Palmatier is present in the boardroom tonight. Those of you who can, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Director Mosqueda-Jones, will you please lead us?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
All right, board members, are there any additions to the agenda this evening? Is there a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second? All right, motion by Director Douglas, seconded by Director Grady to accept the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes 6-0. All right, the next order of business will be the election of officers. The process for officer nomination shall be as follows. Names placed into the nomination. The nominator speaks as to nomination, so the statement of nomination. Nominee speaks on behalf of self, statement of nominee, and roll call vote, which is required, no secret ballot allowed. For the roll call vote, each board member will state the name of the nominee they are voting for, and there will be no discussion. All right, nominations are now in order for the office of chairperson.
I would like to nominate Kelsey Dawson-Walton to continue being chair of the board.
Okay, Kelsey Dawson-Walton is nominated. Are there any further nominations?
I would like to nominate Director Tanya Simons.
Okay, Director Tanya Simons is nominated. Are there any further nominations for chairperson? Are there any further nominations for chairperson? Without objection, nominations are closed. Director Kelsey Dawson-Walton and Director Tanya Simons has been nominated. Would any nominators or nominees like to make a statement with respect for their nomination?
I would. I have several reasons why I think that Kelsey Dawson-Walton is best suited to lead this board in 2022. Being a great leader can be defined many ways. In education, the best leaders possess an ability to make difficult decisions. They build relationships with the people who work with them, regardless of their position, race, gender identity, and any other defining characteristic. They seek out voices that have been silenced and put scholars at the very top of the list and the very center of decisions. These characteristics describe Kelsey Dawson-Walton. As a mother to 4 children at varying levels within our district, she is intimately aware of the impact student-parent experience brings to learning. She has been available and accessible for families just by being involved in her own children's activities. Kelsey has applied her extensive professional experience and knowledge to guide us through some of the most challenging times in our history as a district, country, state, and nation. Kelsey lives her belief that education is the key to unlocking dreams in life. She has been working passionately and intentionally from a holistic lens to ensure academic excellence, equity, and accountability, while at the same time making sure our schools are safe and welcoming for every single scholar. For her own children and our scholars, Kelsey wants to open pathways to learning by removing roadblocks standing in their way. While leading the board, she has created a more welcoming atmosphere during meetings and is thoughtful about making sure everyone's voice is heard. I believe that Chair Dawson Walton is the leader we need right now.
Okay. May I? Thank you. Excuse me. I have nominated Director Tanya Simons for the position of chair. And I believe that Tanya is very well suited for this role for a number of reasons. One of the primary reasons why I believe that Tanya is so well suited for this role is that she has consistently shown up in a way that has been both respectful and uniting of us as board members and in our community. She also has extensive experience in leadership positions. Tanya is previously has served as our vice chair and did that quite well. And I was very impressed with her skill during that time in her ability to support our chairperson. And she has intimate knowledge of what it takes to be a chairperson through her experience as vice chair, as our vice chair and chairperson work so closely together with our superintendent in making decisions on how to move our district forward. That skill and experience is essential to any person who is taking a leadership role of this magnitude. To have that level of experience, I think is very valuable and important. Director Simons also has served as our treasurer, so she has other experience in officer positions as a board member. And she has a background in transformation and continuous improvement and change management, facilitation, and incredible communication skills, all of which I think are critical skills for a chairperson in especially in our district, in the climate that we're experiencing right now, where our constituents are asking for more of those types of skills from us as leaders. And that is why I am recommending that Tanya Simons be our next chairperson.
Thank you so much for the nomination, Director Douglas. I accept your nomination. I had the opportunity to serve as vice chair in 2020 and treasurer previously and this past year. What the public may not know is that the roles of chair and vice chair are critical roles on every school board, shaping the direction of the district and board activity. The chair and vice chair meet weekly with the superintendent, providing guidance and input on behalf of the board. The chair and vice chair set the agenda together with the superintendent, thereby influencing the action items and topics that come before the board. The chair represents the board in multiple functions and in all communications to stakeholders who email the board. The effective running of meetings, including difficult meetings, and how stakeholders are treated in board meetings are the responsibility of the chair. These responsibilities drive the culture of the board in communication, engagement, and transparency, and we should always strive to continuously improve our work. My background in transformation, continuous improvement, change management, facilitation, and communication has influenced my board work and conduct. My career in large, complex organizations and my experience as an entrepreneur have led me to drive forward expectations of continuous improvement and innovation in our district, as reflected in our strategic plan and outcomes. I have sought to thoughtfully integrate all perspectives and advance board discussions, actions, and outcomes to the highest standards of excellence. I bring a perspective that seeks solutions, and I focus on what needs to take place for successful outcomes and results versus a fixed barrier mindset. If elected chair, I would carry the same ethos into the chair role and its duties. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Director Mosqueda-Jones, for the nomination. Being the chair of the Osseo School Board this past year has been one of the greatest honors and challenges I've had in my career. I've been guided by several core internal passions and principles, including the lives and future of all of our scholars, guide me at the core of everything I do as a board member and now as board chair. We need to always stop and think of how this is going to impact our scholars. I'm also guided by my late father's statement since I was young myself that, as Jackie said, education is the key to making dreams come true. And our power is in unity as a board. I believe the role of being the chair of the school board And knowing everything we do touches the lives of our scholars is probably the most significant responsibility anyone could take on for the future of our community, our city, our state, and our nation. They're our future. My passion and my self-interest for my 4 children in this district to receive a quality education can't only be for me. It has to be inclusive for all of our children, all of our scholars. Everyone deserves to have a quality, equitable, effective education. And being reelected school board chair, I would be committed, I am committed to help us navigate through these uncharted times for the lives and future of all of our scholars. So, thank you. The board secretary will now call on each board member to state their choice as chair. When your name is called, please state, "I vote for."
Director Thomas Brooks.
I vote for Chair Kelsey Dawson-Walton.
Director Kelsey Dawson-Walton.
I vote for Director Kelsey Dawson-Walton.
Director Heather Douglas.
I vote for Director Tanya Simons.
Director Tamara Grady.
I vote for Director and Chair Kelsey Dawson-Walton.
Director Jackie Mosqueda Jones.
I vote for Chair Kelsey Dawson-Walton.
Director Tanya Simons.
I vote for Director Tanya Simons.
It is 4 votes for Kelsey Dawson-Walton and 2 votes for Tanya Simons.
I just thank you for your trust and faith in me to chair this next year. Nominations are now in order for the office of Board Vice Chair.
I would like to nominate Vice Chair Jackie Mosqueda Jones.
Okay, Director Jackie Mosqueda Jones is nominated. Are there any further nominations? Are there any further nominations for Vice Chair? Are there any further nominations for Vice Chair? Without objection, nominations are closed. Director Jackie Mosqueda Jones has been nominated. Would any nominators or nominees like to make a statement with respect for their nomination?
I'll be brief in this, but I am nominating Jackie Mosqueda Jones to serve another term as Vice Chair. Vice Chair Mosqueda Jones brings both a year of experience in the role and an education background, I believe, is important in managing the number of requests and issues that come before the board or impact board decisions. After a year of continuous and unexpected change, as we've seen even just this week, some consistency going into the rest of 2022 will serve us well. And I just want to say thank you to Director Mosqueda Jones for your leadership and consistent care for both our scholars and staff.
One of the things I've been honored to do in my life is be on this school board. I've known I wanted to be in education since I was 5 years old. And I do believe that my vast experience across ages and demographics and school districts has been helpful in making scholar-centered choices. So thank you.
All right. The board secretary will now call on each board member to state their choice as Vice Chair. When your name is called, please vote. I vote for.
Director Tanya Simons.
Director Mosqueda Jones.
Director Jackie Mosqueda Jones.
I vote for Jackie Mosqueda Jones.
Director Tamara Grady.
I vote for Jackie Mosqueda Jones.
Director Heather Douglas.
I vote for Jackie Mosqueda Jones.
Director Kelsey Dawson-Walton.
I vote for Jackie Mosqueda Jones.
Director Thomas Brooks.
I vote for Jackie Mosqueda Jones.
6 votes for Jackie Mosqueda Jones.
Congratulations, Jackie.
Thank you.
Nominations are now in order for the office of Board Clerk.
I nominate Director Heather Douglas.
Director Douglas is nominated. Are there any further nominations?
I would like to nominate myself for Board Clerk.
Director Grady is nominated. Are there any other nominations for Board Clerk? Are there any other further nominations for Board Clerk? Without objection, nominations are closed. Director Douglas and Director Grady have been nominated. Would any nominators or nominees like to make a statement with respect for their nomination?
Yes, thank you. I am nominating Director Heather Douglas for clerk. She has served very well in her role of clerk from 2019 to 2021 and previously served as treasurer. Director Douglas is deeply knowledgeable in her understanding of board work and the role of board member and clerk. She ensures diligence in her board work, demonstrating her preparedness for meetings, and fully informs the board of important information in her committee reports. Director Douglas operates with transparency and thoughtfulness and brings the full perspective of the board into her committee roles, making her well-suited for the position of board officer and clerk.
Well, I'm nominating myself, Director Tamara Grady, because I really have a passion for making sure that we have good relationships with the staff and being in better communication, what's going on with our paperwork and learning that angle as I advance and understanding my capacity in building that as a school board director.
Okay, thank you for the nomination, Director Simons. I appreciate that. I have served in this role for 2 years, and previously I served as treasurer. And during that time, I have, I believe, conducted myself professionally and thoroughly understood the role that I was performing and worked well with the staff, particularly Sherry, who is mostly who I work with in my role as board clerk. But I would like to say that it has been an honor to serve in this role, and I would like to continue serving in this role because of the knowledge that I have already, and I have served as an officer of this board and on 287 when I served for 287. It has been an integral part of my role as a board member, and I believe that with my extensive experience as the most senior board member, I believe that it is most appropriate for me to continue in this role. Thank you.
The board secretary will now call on each board member to state their choice as board clerk. When your name is called, please state "I vote for."
Director Kelsey Dawson-Walton.
I vote for Director Grady.
Director Heather Douglas.
I vote for Director Heather Douglas.
Director Thomas Brooks.
I vote for Director Grady.
Director Jackie Mosqueda Jones.
I vote for Director Tamara Grady.
Director Tanya Simons.
I vote for Director Heather Douglas.
Director Tamara Grady.
I vote for Director Tamara Grady.
It's 4 votes for Tamara Grady, 2 votes for Heather Douglas.
Nominations are congratulations. Nominations are now in order for the office of board treasurer.
I nominate Director Tanya Simons.
Director Tanya Simons is nominated. Are there any further nominations? Are there any other further nominations for board treasurer? Are there any other nominations for board treasurer? Without objection, nominations are closed. Director Simons has been nominated. Would any nominators or nominees like to make a statement with respect to their nomination?
I will make a brief statement. Director Simons has extensive knowledge in the area, in the area of financial business management, and she has demonstrated a profound understanding of the economic standing of our district in her relations with our business management team. She has been very professional and understanding of what exactly her role is as treasurer and what their role is as our business management team, and I think that she is very well suited to continue in the role that she is in as treasurer.
Thank you so much for the nomination, Director Douglas. I have enjoyed serving in the role of treasurer, though the majority of the role, as outlined in statute, is delegated to our incredible team of finance experts, which I know that we all love and appreciate. In serving as treasurer, I do feel the role does bear a greater responsibility and accountability, though, to thoroughly understand our financials, ask relevant and appropriate questions, and exercise a greater measure in care of in oversight and compliance. My undergraduate degree is in accounting, and I have my MBA, along with a 16-year career in corporate finance and 5 years in finance transformation work, and that has aided me in my board role and in the role of treasurer. I will continue to bring this experience and analytical skill set in this role in the year ahead, and I greatly appreciate our finance team, who is really just amazing, and it bears all of the credit for all things in our district.
Thank you. The board secretary will now call on each board member to state their choice as treasurer. When your name is called, please state "I vote for."
Director Tamara Grady,
I vote for Director Tanya Simons.
Director Tanya Simons,
I vote for Director Tanya Simons.
Director Jackie Mosqueda Jones,
I vote for Director Tanya Simons.
Director Thomas Brooks,
I vote for Director Simons.
Director Heather Douglas,
I vote for Director Tanya Simons.
Director Kelsey Dawson-Walton.
I vote for Director Simons.
That is 6 votes for Tanya Simons.
Okay, Director Simons is elected board treasurer. Congratulations. That concludes election of officers for 2022. Administration is in the process of reviewing other metro area school district seating arrangements based on board officers. That review and et cetera, that review along with the researching best practices may result in a reconfiguration of how Osseo School Board seating will be set up moving forward. And that wouldn't take effect until our January regular business meeting. The next agenda item is to establish compensation of school board members for 2022. Is there a motion to either change the compensation level or to adopt the 2021 school board compensation levels as the 2022 compensation levels?
I would like to move that we adopt the 2021 school board compensation levels as the 2022 compensation levels.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes 6-0. Next agenda item is the consent agenda. Board members, are there any items you would like to remove for separate consideration? All right, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion by Director Mosqueda Jones, seconded by Director Douglas. Any discussion? Excuse me. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. All right, motion passes 6-0. The next agenda item is to approve the school board committee and joint school board representatives for 2022. I would like to just say that we did make a few changes since last year, and it's really to position the board to do our work more effectively. Just to highlight a few things. We added the Minnesota School Board Association position on just to really tighten the alignment with the Minnesota School Board Association. We've added liaisons for student school board representatives. With as you know, we know that we've added our student school board representatives, and we are currently in the process of starting to begin to build out details for a school board legislative action committee, which will be at a future work session to work out the details on those. So I wanted to just highlight that. Is there a motion to approve the school board representatives to committees and joint boards for 2022 as listed on the document titled Proposed 2022 School Board Committee and Joint Board Representatives?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion by Director Brooks and seconded by Director Grady. Is there any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes 6-0. All right. The next agenda item is school board operating protocols. And board members, I have this on here, not as it is under action item. We aren't taking action tonight. It's just from our conversations that we would have an understanding that we would, bring this forward twice a year to allow some space to speak to our protocols, both the resolution protocol and the agenda setting protocol. And so really it's an opportunity to take a look and entertain any discussion around this or any further action that needed to be taken. I think we just talked about this a couple months ago, but wanting to just bring this forward again to see if anyone has any other insights or wants to look at something a little closer. It's pretty fresh for us, I think, at this point. All right. The next agenda item is a resolution related to renewal of the superintendent contract by and between ISD 279 School Board and Corey McIntyre. Is there a motion to approve the resolution contract?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Director Grady, seconded by Director Mosqueda Jones. Is there any discussion?
I just want to say I'm happy to enter into another contract with Superintendent Corey McIntyre. It's been a rough start for superintendent, and I believe that he has done a great job at making very difficult decisions.
Anybody else have any other things they want to add? I would just say that, I really believe, continuity is really critical to advance our strategic roadmap that Corey really led through this last year and a half, a little bit more than that. And, we very much value the difficult role of superintendent. I think I have not, until I've been on the board, I fully appreciated what that role encompasses, and the ability to lead a district of our size with so many different competing priorities, and being thrown off, really unpredictable. But knowing that this year we really can look at our district to start to implement the strategic priorities, which will position us to be that model district that we set out to our hopes to be in Minnesota and across the country, and most importantly, provide the educational environment to meet our vision, which we set together to unleash and enhance the brilliance of our scholars to thrive and change the world. So with that, is there all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes 6-0. Okay, this concludes our meeting. So our last agenda item is adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Director Brooks, seconded by Director Simons. Any discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, motion passes 6-0. Meeting is adjourned at 6:27 p.m. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.